Screw it. You guys want to run the barbecue? All right, weather be damned, I had a taste for some smoked swine. So even though it's snowy as heck, about 20 degrees, we're out here running the Ugly Drum Smoker on a nice piece of pulled pork. Figured I'd take this opportunity to share with you my absolute, hands down, easiest, best, this is the way you should do it, pulled pork recipe. And before we get into it, I should warn you, I do barbecue the same way I do winemaking. The easiest way, getting the best results. There's a lot of folks out there trying to make barbecue smoking a heck of a lot harder than it is. I think they just like to hear themselves talk. Big words and competition recipes and all this garbage. What we're using on here today, and I'm going to open it in a second, is what we call Aunt Mackline's 3-2-1 pulled pork rub. 3 tablespoons of paprika, 2 tablespoons of coarse salt, 1 tablespoon each of garlic powder, brown sugar, and dried mustard. That's it. Before you rub it, you want to cut off any opaque fat. Any clear, translucent fat's fine, but opaque fat and skin, you're really just taking up real estate where you could be getting crust. And let it sit out on the counter for a good hour or something, get it up to room temperature, and you're good to go. So you're gonna wanna run the pit at right around 250, right? Get her up to 250. I suggest getting some probes. I do try to do things the easiest way and I don't fall into fads and all that, but getting some actual probes so you can keep an eye on the meat at all times is perfect. Using one of these things, you're asking for disaster. So get the pit up to 250, get a probe in there, get your meat on there. Mine's only been on for about a half hour. I'm not gonna keep this open too long. You see, just a nice small little piece. Now here's where we get off the beaten path. First of all, that's a pretty simple rub, right? Most people are adding all kinds of extra ingredients. They gotta hit the Silk Road to make their dang old pulled pork. Nope, not me. We're gonna smoke it in here. I think I got 1 big chunk of hickory and a couple little pieces of apple in here. I like the apple to mellow things out. I'm gonna smoke it in here for about 3 hours. After about 3 hours, we're gonna take it inside, we're gonna finish it in the oven. Why? There's a couple reasons. I found that for a small little, what was this, about 6-8 pounds? For a small little piece of meat like that, after about 3 hours, you've got enough smoke in there. It's not a brisket, it's not ribs. The other reason is, if you've ever smoked pork, you know that chunks of pork like this, most meats, they have a stall point. You'll get up to about 150, 160 degrees, and they'll just sit there for an hour, 2 hours. So what a lot of guys will do is they'll wrap their pulled pork or their ribs or their brisket or whatever in aluminum foil and put it back on the smoker. Well, here's the thing. If you wrap it in foil, you're not absorbing any more smoke anyway, so why not put it in the oven? You can set it and forget it. I don't have to worry about temperatures. I don't have to worry about coal. I just put it in the oven and we're done. So I put it in like a glass casserole dish. I do tarp it there. When you take it in after 3 hours, you're gonna be at about 120, give or take, depending on your piece of meat. I leave it in the oven, tented with tin foil until you hit 185. Then you wanna remove that and take it all the way up to 200. What you're doing there, when you hit 200 on a piece of pork shoulder like this, the meat just falls apart, and that's where your good pulled pork is. You're done at 185, legally done, the meat's done, it's edible. Take it up to 200 or you're cheating yourself. And you want to do that last, 15 degrees untented to get a nice bark on there, because you lose that when you tent it. You're building up steam in there. That's it, man. Make it easy on yourself. It's awesome because I only have to monitor the smoker for 3 hours, and then I can go inside, and while it's in the oven, at 300, did I not say that? In the oven at 300 degrees, you're probably looking at, for most pulled porks, around 6-8 pounds, which is what most of them you're gonna find in the store. You're gonna need another 3+ hours in the oven at 300. So start this early in the day. I've made the mistake way too many times of starting it at 2 in the afternoon and at 9 at night we're just pulling the pork apart. That's all there is to say about it. Later on this afternoon, we're gonna have some seriously dank meat. All right, so leave me a comment down there in the squawk boxes. Let me know if this worked out for you. See you guys tomorrow.